My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is February 20th, 2024. It is 5:11 a.m. I just finished edit a video and I was like, you know what? I need to edit at least one of those videos before I start a new recording. And I'm up to, in terms of editing, February 18, and this is the second video on that day. And I just finished the first one, which is for APTS Sussex. So I need to record this so to get it out the way, because every day new things are popping up, and if I don't record them on the day of, after that I'm not in the mood to record them anymore. So this is what I have. I just put this here, that Byline article. I really want to know what it's all about, so I just added it, and it's been what, for like maybe a week. I keep on pushing it back, and I'm gonna tackle it today. And we have some stuff regarding BAFTA and some stuff I was seeing yesterday, so I want to document them. And these are some old tweets. I don't know if I'll ever get to them. I keep on pushing them back again. All right, so the Byline one that I'm about to read was in that pile right here. But anyway, so let me grab the link. Let's look at some numbers. Okay, 3,700. We're gonna tackle the Byline first. Welcome. Yesterday after I finished editing. Okay, so let's see what this. By now, you guys probably already read it because I shared the link and some of the tweets. Whatever I'm seeing here, you guys probably already seen it. I just have not seen it. The only thing that I read is this part, and then I thought it was important. I put it on my community board for you. So let's see here. That's from Byline Time. This is the first of three-part investigation into the role of the police and the media, specifically the Sun newspaper, and the events leading up to the death of Caroline Flack. A shocking story and distressing reading, but important to expose. Wow, they give you the warning. It's not going to be very pleasant. All right, so let's go into it. How long is it? I might read a good portion of. Oh, it's very long. I don't want the whole. I'll read the first two paragraphs for the sake of this video, and then afterward I'll go back on Twitter. When I'm done recording, I'll read it on my own. But let me just get a hang of it. Okay, closure for Carrie. How Caroline Flack's mom is still fighting for truth 4 years after her death. On the anniversary of Caroline Flack's death, Byline Time launches a new Media 2 investigation into her treatment by the police and the media with an interview with her mother, Christine. There's one video, I believe she was on one of the caller for LBC or something like that. Yeah, it's very... No mother should go through that. It's very sad. Okay, by Dan Evans and Tom Latchen, 15 February 2024. Choose love. Okay, on February 15th, the family of Caroline Flack sat together on a bench memorial in their local woods, raised a glass, and held her in their hearts and thoughts. 4 years ago, the television star, one of the most recognizable faces and admired personalities in British entertainment, took her own life at the age of 40. Wow, she was young. Okay, quote, "We just go to her bench in the woodland," her mom Christine explained quietly to Byline Time. "We meet there each year. Lizzie, my eldest daughter, and Jodie, Carrie's twin." Oh, she was a twin. Wow. "And Paul, her brother, come." Quote, "This year, we took a bottle of wine to toast her and had McDonald's because that's what Carrie would have had. And we usually end up smiling, really. She did some funny things. She was always so funny." For those who knew Carrie best, it's been 4 years of heartbreak, grief, and an open-ended search for understanding and acceptance. It's also been a quest for answers from a police and justice system the Flax feel failed her. They are a close-knit bunch. Chris lives with her partner Nigel and Caroline's strapping gray Scottish fold cat Waffle in a neat white-washed apartment in a Georgian conversion in Norwich. Jodie and her family are based nearby. Chris adores her grandchildren. They're in and out of each other's lives daily. Her home is decorated with reminders of happier moments, framed magazine covers, and photos celebrating Caroline's many remarkable achievements, winning Strictly Come Dancing, collecting a BAFTA for Love Island, being Cosmo's Celebrity Influencer of the Year 2018. This is sad. Okay, even though it hasn't really get deep into the thing, but this part alone. Okay, it was here amid such great memories that Chris took a call on 15 February 2020 that changed everything. It was Jodie. She had just found her sister. Oh my God. Oh, no way back. Caroline Flax's emotional struggles were long known to her inner circle as well as many in the tabloid media and at her employer ITV. For 5 years, she has presented the channel's top rating show Love Island. Her bubbly kindness and relatable girl next door glamour a hit with millions of viewers. But behind the confident public persona, Caroline's mental health fluctuated. She was deeply sensitive to online negativity and obsessed over disparaging remarks on social media. I mean, I could understand that. There could be 30 nice things said and one bad thing said, and that was it, Christine said, to the point of depression. Wow. So when 2 months earlier, a domestic incident with her then boyfriend, Louis Burton, a tennis coach and model, snowballed into a career-threatening career drama, it was cause for deep concern. Caroline's greatest fear was always that her mental health challenges, for her a source of unspeakable shame and anxiety, will become public knowledge, to lose control of this deeply personal information and the glare of a tabloid media with which she had long endured often abusive relationship was devastating. The fact of Caroline's criminal case were established by Mary Hessel, the coroner investigating her death in August 2020, and the early hours of 12 December 2019, following night out separately in which both had been drinking. Caroline and Louis Burton returned together in cabs for her flat in Stoke Norwich, East London. The couple had gone to bed and Burton was asleep when his phone lit up with a message from a woman. Caroline picked up the device, holding her own phone in her other hand. She wanted to confront her boyfriend about it. Some, quote, choice words were used, said Chris. Okay, let me read this and then that's it. Well, the police arrived. That's where everything get really serious. Okay, at the inquest, and coroner reenacted the movement of Caroline sweeping her hand toward Burton as he sat up quickly in bed. He hit his head on the corner of the handset she was holding, causing a 1 centimeter cut beyond his hairline. That's how it hit his head, Chris says. It was an accident. It was around 5 a.m. The pair argued, and the heat of it, Burton called the police. He said initially he thought he had been hit with a lamp or fan. Wow. The officer at the scene quickly established this to be inaccurate and removed no evidence from the scene beyond the phone. Caroline later told the police that as he rang them, Burton, still under the influence of alcohol, told her, "You effed." He was right. Caroline's reaction to the drawing realization of police involvement was extreme. In a display of emotional fragility, she self-harmed. I don't think he realized what will happen with the media if the police came, Chris said, and so many police cars turned up, and that's when she started cutting her risk. Oh my Lord. Wow. This is... Okay, let me read this. Now wow. Okay, the police arrived. When officers arrived 8 minutes after Burton's call, they met a scene that required nuance to understand. Caroline admitted her role immediately. She signed a note recording the fact and explained that the injury to Burton was caused unintentionally. When the police got there, they saw this blood, and that's when she said, "No, I did it," because they thought he may have hurt her. So straight away, she admitted, says Chris. Although Crown Prosecution Service lawyers Katie Rice later described it as like a scene from a horror movie, it's beyond question that the police knew from the beginning the blood was substantially Caroline's.
I don't want the press to be in the last chance saloon at all. I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry, and I think it's in all our interests that we have a thrive. And we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we can have both a serious and an entertaining press. And that's what I want to see survive. I don't want to see Prince Harry destroy the industry I love.
Not that this self-evident fact translates into the initial CPS case, misinformation and correct assertion tumble out at the Highbury Corner Magistrate Court on 23 December 2019 as the news and social media look on rubbing their hands. Caroline entered a simple not guilty plea and thought her solicitor sought a lifting of bail restriction so she could see Burton over Christmas. Wow, he did not support the prosecution, branding it a show trial as they remain in a relationship, and pleaded her case in court at a later date. Weiss objected forcefully and successfully on the matter of bail and gave plenty for the paper to report. Oh my God, these people, they work together to create scene, the nonsense that the other woman been saying. They want entertainment.
We got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all.
Oh, fuck. Okay, on the matter of bail, and give plenty of the papers to report by repeating the lamp claim to the court while acknowledging that Caroline had told police she was suicidal. Weiss also attacked her as manipulative, insisting, quote, she has ruined her own life by committing the assault. This is almost the same thing that they did to Meghan when Meghan came out to say about the suicidal thing. You know, you had the entire UK media blaming Meghan on all of that. This is very toxic. The UK system is very toxic. Such inflammatory word fuel a frenzy of often prejudicial tabloid reporting. Yeah, that's what I saw. I'm starting to understand them very well, especially after that woman said that she wants entertainment. So, in another word, in my humble opinion, the police are working with the tabloid to create stories. Oh my God. It's not a place to stay, to live in, the UK. And the weeks between her arrest and death, a period in which criminal proceedings were formally active for the purpose of a media required by law to protect the presumptive of innocence and right to a fair trial, the reporting on the case often went far beyond neutral. Yeah, I could understand that. Wow. This is sad. Wow. Okay. So there's more. I'll read these. Wow. Looking at it now, it's not that much, but I want to finish. Wow. It's already 24 minutes. Let me go on Twitter. Let me read some of the comments under that, and then I'll go to the next one. Okay. They are evil scum of the earth. The editor and the journalist there, they disgust me. Them and the Daily Mail are trying to do the same thing to my fave Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan. I don't know how Harry was able to sustain that, because they've been doing that to him since he was a child. Oh my God. All right, Byline time. Can you please investigate the qualification of all UK journalists and the universities that they qualify from? There is that the whole market can be so corrupt. We need, if they apply to their code of conduct and best practices. This is why they hate Omid. They claim Omid is Harry and Meghan's mouthpiece, when in fact he's just doing his job, following the code of ethic. There's the clapping thumbs up. Distressing but brilliant article by Byline Time. I'm so disgusted by the Sun and Murdoch. The tabloid and this country need to be held to account. The Met and CPC too. I hope flag sues the Sun, West and Pitt, Caroline. Not only that, the police as well, because it seems like they withheld information and they let the paper run wild with whatever things they put on the they say in court based on the portion that I read so far. Okay, after these, that's it. Okay, where the stories published in the Sun written by Dan Wootton. Very interesting. I'll go into that. Okay, I don't know if I'm very empathetic, but I will never think of doing that to another person or allowing someone to do it if I have the power to avoid it. I don't know how far journalists are going to go in the UK. This country is so toxic. Big media, royals, government, and lawmakers are all so corrupt. There is no hold those in power accountable. We will need intervention to fix this mess. The main thing is there are some good politicians, but they know how to manipulate you to throw the how do you call this, the squirrel, the bright light for you to chase instead of focusing on the substance, based on what I've seen so far. But I don't pay attention to the politics in the UK anymore because I've had enough. Okay, the US is going with its own thing, but at least the ones that I've seen so far, there are some few. It's just that many of you, I guess, I don't know, the skin color don't, I don't know, let me leave that alone. Okay, I say I wanted to go into that. Okay, where the story is published in the Sun written by Dan Wootton. Dan Wootton should be in prison. I guess he did. I didn't click on it yet, but I saw Dan Wootton name here. I found such hateful and evil behavior until I found out about the British media and their so-called journalists. Okay, so let's go into that. Okay, he was vicious. Some of them, yes. Okay. The loss of another beautiful life, all for the sake of money. I know. I hope that
we got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all.
I hope the do-call friend who sold the photo in the first place never ever enjoys a day's peace. Tainted dirty money grabber. Thank you, Byline Times, for the beginning of this story and supporting the Flack family. So it's him, and some of them he did. Okay, so let's go to the next tweet. Let me pause for something. Someone just sent me a message. Okay, so this is the thing someone just sent me here, like a minute. Okay, it's regarding World Central Kitchen. You probably will see that on our Port of Pure service. So this is, let me get back to my original recording, my list. All right, so let's go to the next tweet. So all week, all day or last weekend, the talk of town was William. Okay, so then where are you at? King of England is out in these streets walking into rooms and being ignored. There's the laugh. I thought Paul said he was so popular. Prince where the 10, Workshire Willie, Prince of Begging. Okay, so this one is only 7 seconds. Nobody pay him any attention. Because I shared this on my community board. I read some of the comments where there was some sort of a rule when he walks into the BAFTA, people supposed to stop or stand up or to show some sort of a respect to him, but here they pay him no mind. Same way, Prince of King was ignored when he was entered with Middleton is a racist. Alright? When people supposed to stand when he walks. So this is the thing that I heard some people vote on my community board. Let's see here. Pause when they begging on Harry for going to a movie premiere during his father's health announcement. Awkward silence. Okay. Correctly, the influence from the audience was similar to when they both attended. So he thought that maybe if he goes by himself, the wife, I guess the wife was somewhat pulling him down. That's why they weren't clapping. I don't know. Who knows what goes in these people's head? Whatever's here. Well, it'll save a security cost. Half of the people recognize him, and the other half don't care. Even the kids are over him. So much for that future. LOL. It's reaping what you've sown. UK. Oh, did we lose the use his title? The public royal protocol for present at was to stand, bow, and applaud when any HRH entered the room. That's this here. Popular where? Work shy really is an utter disgrace. You know that is a lie. What to worry about is that no one seems all that interested in how Kate is doing more. She was supposed to be the savior of the monarchy. What is what? They're just laughing. Of those velvet jacket. What a punt. Alright, so let me go to the next one. Okay, I don't want to stay too long on that. There's Henry VIII. Meghan Markle didn't find the work part hard because, let's face it, it's not. Watching a full of movies over the course of a few weeks will have prevented William from looking like a cloud. But that was too hard for the future king. Yeah, I need to get to those tweets. Hopefully I did bookmark them or put them on the list. Remember how they criticized Meghan for her work ethic, hate her for...
Yeah, I think there's another factor here too, that Meghan is a very professional woman, and she's very American in that way, and the male-dominated culture, the royal household, doesn't like the kind of terms that they would use there, pushy and pushy American. They don't like pushy Americans, meaning that they don't like professional people who work hard. And a lot of the Debbie kind of girls who get to work inside the palace work from about 9 to 12 and then take the rest of the day off. And Meghan was very impatient with that. She wanted to see a new work ethic, maybe a work ethic as strong as the Queen's herself.
I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well is obviously a huge relief to me, because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it. But no, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are, and we hope to, you know, over time try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
I am very excited about that, yeah.
Always having a handle on issues and always being prepared for her engagement. Ladies and gentlemen,
maybe a work ethic as strong as the Queen's herself.
Gentlemen, see the consequences of being unprepared. That is true. That is true. Well, I haven't shown you that the tweet yet, the image of him laughing with some ladies. Okay? He has had 40 years to learn Welsh, to be the Prince of Welsh, and be bothered. I need...
Your Royal Highness, please accept the inscribed testament on which you took the oath.
Then came the big moment, and the speech, with everyone taking bets on whether the princess would attempt a few words in Welsh.
I am extremely grateful to you, Lord Mayor, and to the City Council, and to the City of Cardiff, for granting me the freedom of the city. I realise it is a very great honour, and I am most grateful. I would like to try to express my thanks to you in Welsh also. Mae'n blesed cael dod e Gymru, hoffwn ddod eto yn fuan. Diolch yn fawr.
That very possible attempt at Welsh pronunciation earned the princess a standing ovation.
More about his work ethic or commitment to his job. Okay? Echoed of when Dr. Jill Biden showed up for the early childhood panel with a binder and prepare question. I know what you're talking about because I have the video. And him cut the conversation off because it was really just a photo app for her. Oddly,
open up, right? Because there were so many areas where teachers were helping parents and parents were helping teachers, and so it's just such a fascinating discussion. But I think we're moving in the right direction. And I also wanted to ask about food security. I had so many things that I wanted to ask about, but I guess I'll have to just come back.
Definitely will. Your Royal Highness, any closing reflections?
I'm the same. I could talk about it for a very long time, and it's so lovely to see so many familiar faces. But just to pick up on, I suppose, what's been discussed a bit about the importance of parenthood, and a bit about, I suppose, my own journey into looking into the importance of early childhood development, and just touching back on the conversations around supporting parents. I'm really interested about how could we best prepare the next generation to become parents themselves. So actually the focus isn't sort of on parenting itself, but actually how can we give them the tools so that they're having their babies and raising their children with these greater tools. And I think that's something that education all the way through the system, I think, would be really really powerful. But in terms of my own journey, yes, it's been about prevention, and I've really started looking into this work to see what we could do to help prevent some of today's tougher social challenges, whether that's addiction, poor mental health, violence and things like that in the home. And you know, I suppose I've heard time and time again from the likes of Eamon, from parents, from practitioners, I like just how important the first 5 years of life are for future life outcomes. I suppose in listening to everybody, I suppose that's why this was for me really important. That was, you know, to have this place where we can all come together, whether it's parents.
Most of the tweets showing videos from this event have been deleted. So odd. Wow. Interesting. Alright, Willie could have both prepared for the ceremony as the BAFTA president should be and spent time with his wife. Guess that was asking too much. Sitting and watching movie is a great way for a couple to spend time together, especially if one of them is convalescent at home, right? Okay, if he didn't have time to watch the movie, the least he could have done was read a synopsis of the movie to have a grasp of what they were about. No wonder he has the nickname Workshy Willie. My goodness. I mean, the thing is that they want numbers, okay? I have so many patronages I'm part of and all of that. They only care about the numbers. But the work behind it, they don't care. Meanwhile...
So you're affiliated, as many in your family are, with many, many charities. You're patrons of certain organizations. I read that you have about 15 charities that you're affiliated with. Your brother and sister-in-law have about 35, but that's less than some other members of your family, right? You all are doing it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So how do you focus?
So,
and tell us, that by contrast, how many charities might other royals be affiliated with in different generations?
Hundreds. My grandmother had to rewrite the rule books to a certain extent. My father, my mother have also done it their way. And now we're the younger generation coming through, trying to do it our way, because the world has changed so much. We believe that by streamlining and by bringing people together in order to effect real positive change is the only way forward. And you know, it worked for previous generations, and we will always say yes to becoming patron of a charity that we believe in and that we're incredibly passionate about. But I think in today's world, you have to be involved with things that make sense to where your passions lie, rather than potentially turning up to a charity once a year. I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to anybody.
Harry is literally letting them know the blueprint to success. Harry said is the thing he's passionate about, okay? And he followed that. Meghan, the Queen, saw this is where Meghan was working as an actress. This is why she gave her that as a patronage. But these people, they just want numbers. They thought, oh, okay, so people like Meghan because she had this patronage, so they strip her off of it and then they grab it, thinking the work behind it doesn't matter. Oh my God. Whew. Let me revise there and then move. I read that, like, even watching movie is too much work for him. What does he even do with his time? Okay, it seems like part of their character is that they don't actually feel the need to know about or care for anything. They are just existing. I mean, this is the nonsense they put in their head. You know, the opposite for people with dark skin. You know, your dark skin automatically, you know, for them, they put this imagery of you lesser than, you're not that smart, you're not this, you're not that. And this is where this misconception is blowing up in their faces. Okay, they were the one who created this nonsense globally. Let people know, you know, black and brown people have a hard time to navigate around the world because of them. They create this nonsense. Meanwhile, there they are. They wanted the spotlight, and the spotlight is showing how mediocre. The same nonsense they put on black and brown people, there they are displaying it globally. When in fact, it's the work you put behind whatever you interest in. Not everybody's gonna know everything. You make mistake. Harry recognized that. You make mistake, you pick up and go and learn and find people who knows what you're trying to get and make them teach you or whatever. Put some energy and work behind whatever it is you're part of. But no, for them, boom, lucky sperm. Bam, everybody bend down to you and, you know, things lay out for you. This is the thing that they put in their head. Now it's blowing in their faces. All right, next week, Diana put the work in. That work with her voice coach in the early 90s, okay? 1 minute and 21 seconds.
So,
If you come in here, you sit down and be quiet.
you've got to be very quiet.
Very quiet.
It's her reaction when they walked in. She's like, oh.
Don't touch it, William, because it's all focused on me.
Okay, let's pretend, right? Okay, so Your Royal Highness, you're currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I've got nothing else to do.
Listen to William. Listen to William afterward.
Sorry.
No, this is recorded a lot. Go back.
Because, and I have the full recording of it. He said, William said, you awful, you know. But
If you come in here, you sit down and be quiet.
Be very quiet.
Very quiet.
When this tape was recorded, Prince William was 11 and Prince Harry was 9.
Don't touch it, William, because it's all focused on you.
Your Royal Highness, you're currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I've got nothing else to do.
She's recording.
Sorry.
Take 2.
anyway, that's good.
Shots out. And what we do.
She has been abandoned by her family, having become a huge embarrassment and disgrace. Each person is born with individual qualities and potential.
Slightly
Wow.
faster now. Let's move on, yes. Only slightly. Get a little angry now with that.
I can't be angry and speak like
Yes,
that.
you can.
I can't get my words out. I'm so tired.
When am I going to see you when you're not tired?
Mornings, ladies and gentlemen.
More energy. Not bad, eh? Not bad.
Wow. That's me to that. She flank time. Okay, when she said what is it? Because she has let's pause it. Because she has nothing to do, and I was like, she fill it in, you know, with doing work. Diana, because I have nothing to do. LOL. What do the royals do that they need Harry back? That's a very good question. Okay, when you care about doing your job well, you put in the work. Yep, you put the work in. Desire to perform tasks well gives you the drive. Concern about how your interaction with the public affect their daily lives should make one work harder. Some royals get it, while others don't. OMG, she was so beautiful. Her laughter so contagious. Very sweet and playfully. The world lost a special soul far too soon. Her giggle is contagious. You can see where Harry get it from. Alright, that is one of the things that's so important to the aristocrats and social climbers. So I'm surprised that Kate's mom didn't invest in it for her daughter. It was a requirement at my boarding school. 3 years and even took exam at the end of the year. Public speaking in the US, they do that. Well, in college, but in elementary school or high school or things like that, when they make you do a project, sometimes you have to stand in front of the classroom to explain your project. So that's a form of training in a way. All right, let me read what's there and then move. All right. Her laughter, there's a laugh here, plus the truth. Quote, I have nothing to do. None of them have anything to do. To be honest, that's the only honk change her accent. So they can get a voice coach to help mumbles. I've been saying this. Yeah. Diana did more in 36 years than Kate in her 42 years. Kate hibernated from 2011 to 2017. The late Queen had to tell her to become gainfully employed prior to marriage and reminded her to become occupied while married. Kate is in hibernation again, sadly, and racism. There's a thinking face here. That is one thing that's so okay, I read that already. Okay, so let's go to the next tweet. UK tabloid. Let's pause here. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty of. The only one creating a circus are you, the British tabloid, and can GB go 2 hours without posting anything about Harry and Meghan? Well, the thing that's going on right now in the UK, I heard the UK is going on a recession, so they don't want to talk about these kind of things. Who knows what else they're talking about? Okay, it's outrageous. There's GB News here. Richard Fitzwilliam says Harry and Meghan are trying to make the royal family a circus which revolve around them. Oh, luckily I put that video that somebody just sent me regarding World Central Kitchen. Harry and Meghan, they're not trying to recreate the wheel. So many charities have already been in existence. Now that I said I have to leave the video, the tweet in this video, because I was gonna remove it, put it on our part of your service, and wherever they see there's a charity or organization that's already in existence that doing good things that they want to support and for them to continue that particular organization. This is where they attach their name with. They don't take it over to recreate, to say, oh, it's me, I'm doing this. No, they shed light to that particular organization. Okay, how did I know about World Central Kitchen? How did I know about Homeboy Industry? How did I know about all the other charities that I've highlighted on my channel so far? And there's plenty more. There's like 40 something charities I need to highlight on this channel. They're doing so many things. I don't even have time to highlight all of them. They're not looking to people. The light is already on them. So they're just grabbing, bringing others along. This is why World Central Kitchen give credit where credit is due. This
is Felix for World Central Kitchen reporting from Soufriere Primary School in the Caribbean island of Dominica. The school you can see behind me was devastated by Hurricane Maria back in 2017, and in fact it took a whole 2 years before pupils were allowed back on site. I'm now here with my colleague Jason to announce the completion of the first of our community relief kitchens. The kitchen will be used primarily to feed the needs of the 67 pupils here at the school, but we'll also be offering culinary training to the wider community when the school's not in session. We've been able to design the kitchen in such a way that it's resilient to future disasters and will be activated as a service kitchen to meet those needs if it arises. We really like to extend our thanks firstly to ResDM, the local partner on the ground here, and also to Meghan and Harry's Archewell Foundation, whose support have helped the project become possible.
If the royal family were to be nice, okay, now they don't even want to mention them. Harry and Meghan don't even mention them, and then they get pissed. Anyway, this is a video from GB News, right? That's it. Let me go into it. Maybe there's more. Is there? What are these? There's Harry. Seems like it's a... Okay, I'm not gonna go through all of them. When was that? That's old. That's February 18. That's old. This is a little bit more recent. Let me go over that only. Okay, so 1 minute and 24 seconds.
And now we have this idea that apparently being floated by Harry to friends, sources, the thought that he would return. He hasn't any patronages. This would make the wrong...
These people are crazy. The tabloid, the UK tabloid, are the one who's saying he's returning. Meanwhile, Harry literally on US TV said he's not returning. And then...
Can you see a day when you would return as a full-time member of the royal family?
Now they're saying the sources and all of that. They don't want. Oh my God. They literally are crazy. Let me move it back. My God.
That he would return. He hasn't any patronages. This would make the royal family something of a circus which would revolve largely around the Sussexes every time they appeared. I mean, it's quite bizarre, really.
Richard, do you think the palace knew that Harry was going to do that interview with Breakfast TV and talk about his dad's health?
I don't think that...
Breakfast TV? What's Breakfast TV? It's GMA, Good Morning America. Is that what they call these things in the UK? It's to promote the Invictus. It's to promote the Invictus. But it was through a conversation. They asked him, and he responded the best way he knows how. And other parts he said, you know, that's between him and his father. But you guys take it to another level. Oh my Lord.
That the Sussexes have ever tipped the palace off in a long while on issues that, that involve them and the media. I think they've always taken the view, whatever their view on their own privacy, that the privacy of others is there to be invaded. Quite frankly, you remember Oprah, you remember Harry and Meghan on Netflix.
Yeah, and I remember you talking about the Oprah interview when you didn't even see it yet.
The following video was filmed on the 5th of March 2021, 2 days before Harry and Meghan's interview was seen by anyone.
Would these paid commentators give a review of an interview they've not yet seen? To put this to the test, Archie and I set up a production company, Beneath the Fold Limited, to invite 4 royal experts onto a fake TV show to give their reaction to Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it. Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it. Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it. We found some royal experts and used our very own royal expert to gauge their interest.
Together a special for a UK broadcaster to be broadcast immediately after the interview that Harry and Meghan have given to CBS with Oprah. And we're looking for guests to comment on the interview, basically. So it will be pre-recorded, so we're actually recording it tomorrow, and it's just to offer kind of an immediate reaction to the interview that will then go out after the interview, if that makes sense.
Within minutes, the Queen's former press secretary, Dickie Arbiter, the editor of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Seward, royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams, and CNN's Victoria Arbiter all agreed to offer their instant reaction to an interview that hadn't even broadcast. The experts were happy to act as if they'd already seen the interview. Their fees were negotiated and their contracts signed. Had these professional royal experts who influenced the public already made up their minds about Harry and Meghan's interview before seeing it? This is what happened.
Victoria Arbiter, A-R, B as in boy, I-T-E-R, and I am royal commentator for CNN.
Richard Fitzwilliams, royal commentator.
You've not seen the interview yet, have you?
No.
No, great. I think we have a fair idea of where the interview's going, and we have a fair idea.
You do, definitely.
Okay, great. Are you ready to go? Brilliant. Okay, let's go.
What was your overall impression of the interview?
I think that this was an extremely hard-hitting interview.
Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it.
Do you think, looking back now, that Oprah went rather soft on Harry and Meghan?
It was not a balanced interview.
Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it.
Oprah is a friend and gave them an easy ride.
And Harry and Meghan's interview 3 days before they had even seen it.
She was totally sympathetic, and there is a great deal in it that the palace will find deeply concerning.
Were you surprised in the interview to hear Meghan's comments about Prince William?
She used extremely strong language to describe her relations with members of the royal household.
So having seen the interview, what do you think it said about Meghan's relationship with the Queen?
I think it was not very good. The interview told us that Harry and Meghan both greatly admire the Queen, but not the institution.
Meghan spoke about her love of animals. Obviously, in the interview, Meghan talked about the Balham Donkey Sanctuary. In the interview, Meghan talked about the Balham Donkey Sanctuary. What does that tell us about Meghan's character?
If we could speak to the words that Meghan used in the interview to describe Prince William and the brotherly rift, what did you make of that part of the interview?
In describing the brotherly rift, as they did in the interview, you can't help but be incredibly moved, stunned.
Sorry I got carried away with the YouTuber's prank interview, but it just goes to show you how far these people will go for a few bucks. This guy, Harry, literally said what he had to say in American TV, but these people in the UK turned that to a completely fabricated story. Okay, so let's get back to the original recording. Oh my goodness. And the YouTubers interview you to talk about the Oprah interview, which you did not see. Dumbass.
Remember Harry's memoir Spare, and they're the three worst examples. The point is, after you behave like that, you simply can't, at will, so to speak, offer your services at a time. Admittedly, the royal family is very stretched, but nonetheless, illness has struck, obviously, as we know, the King and also the Princess of Wales. But the idea that the Sussexes could suddenly reappear, I mean, it's outrageous.
That smirk he put at the end is just saying, I'm fooling you people. My goodness. What is this here? This. Richard Fitzwilliam said GB News are trying to make the news a circus which revolve around them. Comment why. Alright, let's leave that alone. Let's move on to the next tweet. Okay, I've shared that interview with you in one of my videos. I did a review on it. Next tweet. Okay, so who are these now? Jeremy Vid. Okay, he ain't coming back. Eventually return to the royal duties. Okay, so the UK is the only one who's saying the opposite of what Harry said in the interview. Harry could potentially, there's the key word here, potentially return to royal duties, but we're a long way off that. Okay, at Daisy McAndrew says the royal family will need to be sure the Duke of Sussex won't cause trouble if he were to come back temporarily. Harry already said he's not coming back. Alright, dream.
Can you see a day when you would return as a full-time member of the royal family?
Him on. Can you see he is thriving in America and the world can never have enough of him? He ain't coming back to cesspit. Alright, so let's listen to that. Let's go into it. Pause. Is there more? I'm just gonna focus on this because these people, wow, is that long? 2 minutes and 51 seconds.
I've got my own family. Well, yes, but he's part of a bigger family. I find that really sad that he just sort of almost excludes that. But I actually think that the British people was desperately sad to lose Harry. It was an absolute tragedy for them and for us as a nation, in fact.
I wonder why. The minute he went back over there to meet his father, you guys pick up exactly where he off. And you reminded him, in my humble opinion, why he left in the first place.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges.
He does have a family. He has a children. He has a wife. What the hell? I understand the UK, well, let me not put all the UK under that umbrella, but the majority of them, those who hijack the media, they don't know anything about family. They just know how to sleep around. Oh my Lord.
He was so popular. But I think the challenge at the moment is that he is, because of writing the book and the constant interviews and things, I don't think that the royal family could trust him.
Can you see a day when you would return as a full-time member of the royal family?
To keep his mouth shut if he came back to sort of help out, for example.
You guys were calling him to come back. He said he's not coming back. He doesn't need you guys. This is the narrative that they decided to go with their nonsense. Oh my Lord. They created and then they responded to their own nonsense.
To help his brother whilst the king is hopefully recovering fast from cancer. I think that's the real issue.
Let's talk to NBC News' royal commentator Daisy McAndrew about this. Daisy, is there any sort of shape of a role that Harry could step into here, do you think?
I think there potentially could be. I don't think that we're anywhere near seeing that or getting that at the moment. And I do agree with Richard. I think the British public and actually around the world, people were terribly sad. There was this fairy tale of Harry and Meghan, after the wedding and Charles walking Meghan, down the aisle, and this, truly modern looking couple, diverse,
and then you guys went bonkers after that. You went psychotic after that. You never returned back to normal anymore, if there was any normalcy over there, because you guys did the same thing to Princess Diana, nice and everything, but as soon as she settled down, you guys went bonkers.
It's like being sucked in, just people pushing and then people pulling, all in the same direction.
So you're being what, pushed by family?
Yeah, my family looked great, and so did my friends, and so did Charles's family. They liked me. They were very good to me when I was a guest.
What does that mean?
We used to change when I was a daughter, and the positions changed.
That's sad. Okay, I need to put the clown face on these people as I...
Young and glamorous, and suddenly they were sort of ripped away from the royal family, or they ripped themselves away from the royal family. It all came...
I wonder why. Because many of you are part of the... How will I say that? It's like terror. You terrify her. You terrify her.
You are making people want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You are making me scared. Right? And like that night, to be up and down in the middle of the night, looking down my hallway, like, are we safe? Are the doors locked? Is security on? Is everything? That's real. Are my babies safe? And you've created it for what? Because you're bored, or because it sells your papers? Or it makes you feel better about your own life? It's real what you're doing. And that's the piece I don't think people fully understand.
You guys writing nonsense non-stop every day. She talk about her mental well-being. You guys laugh at it. What was she supposed to do? Jesus Christ.
And tumbling down. So in answer to your question, I think there potentially could be, but I think we're a long way off that. And I think, as Richard was saying, the royal family would need to know that Harry really meant it. If he was able to offer some help, that he would do it in a sort of selfless way and wouldn't be doing more interviews, doing more books, causing more trouble.
Do you think...
Can you see a day when you would return as a full-time member of the royal family?
No. And I have no regrets. It's incredibly sad, but I have no regrets at all, because now I'm in a place where I feel as though I should have been 4 years ago.
Daisy, there'd be most resistance from William. His recent visit, Harry's recent...
Meanwhile, you have Camilla leaking to the press. You have, William team leaking to the press. It's not like I'm saying this because I'm guessing. No, they themselves... different royal reporters are saying where the leaks are coming from. Now they're turning it on Harry.
Very happy to see both of his sons. I'm sure of that. And he may well want to forgive and forget. And we already know that he has left the door open, open to Harry to come back. However, I don't think Wills or Kate or any of the other royals that he has slated as racist and much, much worse will want to have anything to do with him. I mean, I know my paper says it's a show of love that he's here. No, it's not a show of love. Harry is a grown man now. He's nearly 40 years old. He knows that things can befall men of 75. And why has he waited until his dad has been diagnosed with cancer before he rushes across the ocean to see him? It's been 17 months since he saw his dad. Last saw him at the coronation, where he was sullen.
Maybe that's not...
I'm sorry. No, you don't wait until your dad has cancer.
No, we don't know whether they've been speaking over the telephone.
We do know, Jeremy.
No, because some reporter has mentioned it.
We do know that they did speak on his birthday, and Willis's people immediately leaked that phone call to the press.
That's what the...
Look at this. Throughout the whole holiday and leading up to January and everything like that, all the work that they were doing, we did not know a damn thing about it until they put it out. And then it put me, because they drop everything all at once and I have to play catch up. Okay, nobody leaked a thing. So when Harry was over there, who was leaking to the press? Not them.
Much of the negativity towards the couple is coming from within the royal family. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
We didn't even know about the cookbook until it was released. And she made sure to keep it quiet because you guys didn't know about it until it was time. Otherwise, you guys would have sabotaged it.
Recent visit to his dad, it was notable that William and Harry didn't get together at all.
Yes, that is where the true frostiness exists. We've clearly seen a thawing on the relationship between Charles and Harry, and that's to be welcomed. And clearly, the fact that his father's got cancer will be a big part of that. And we know, because Harry wrote it in his book, that Charles had said to Harry and William about their feuding, please, dearest boys, don't make my last few years a misery. And now, of course, that was before he knew he had cancer. So I think that will be very much uppermost in Harry's mind. But that reconciliation between William and Harry doesn't appear to be anywhere near.
Gemma, what do you think?
Oh, it'd be nice if they do reconcile, wouldn't it? And I think when somebody's ill, it brings everything into sharp focus, doesn't it? So I'm sure his dad being ill will, absolutely soften perspectives, hopefully, and that, hopefully they can get it together.
Meanwhile, they're using that illness as a way for the brothers to get together. Meanwhile, what was done to Harry still haven't been settled yet. Does William understand what he did to Harry? Does he know? Otherwise, he's going to pick up exactly where he left off to continue hurting him. So Harry has moved on. Okay, you guys could do whatever. He had offered you what he wanted. It was rejected.
Began to address Granny about the 5 options. Your Majesty, you've seen the 5 options? Yes, she said. We all had. They'd been emailed to us. 5 different ways of proceeding. Option 1 was continuance of the status quo. Meg and I don't leave. Everyone tries to go back to normal. Option 5 was full severance. No royal role, no working for Granny, and total loss of security. Option 3 was somewhere in between, a compromise, closest to what we'd originally proposed. I told everyone assembled that, above all, I was desperate to keep security. That was what worried me most, my family's physical safety. I wanted to prevent a repeat of history, another untimely death like the one that had rocked this family to its core 23 years earlier, and from which we were still trying to recover. I'd consulted with several palace veterans, people who knew the inner workings of the monarchy and its history, and they all said option 3 was best for all parties. Meg and I living elsewhere part of the year, continuing our work, retaining security, returning to Britain for charities, ceremonies, events. Sensible solution, these palace veterans said, and eminently doable. But the family, of course, pushed me to take option 1. Barring that, they would only accept option 5. We discussed the 5 options for nearly an hour. At last, the bee got up and went round the table, handing out a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing, announcing implementation of option 5. Wait, I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement? Before any discussion? Announcing option 5? In other words, the fix was in this whole time? This summit was just for show? No answer.
So he's moved on, and he literally just said his family is in California. So let me read just this too and then move on. I'm not going to go to the tabloid. Okay, the man said no, and he then stuttered. Move on. You screwed up. You made your bed, deal. You get those boring, nasty, lazy, drunk leftovers. We get, and Meghan, suck to be you. Okay, she tagged these people here. King Charles, Princess Diana, and Fergie traders all did books, gave TV interviews, and criticized the monarchy because of the new men need to tell their story. Charles even criticized the Queen and Philip for their, or is it just, okay, she write more. Or is it just Prince Harry that must be dehumanized through institutional abuse and gaslight, and keep quiet about it? There's all of this. Okay, let me move on. 6 o'clock. There's this here. Oh, here we effing go again. When you get it and you're thick Harry is not coming back. What part of his not coming back don't you idiot understand? He's happy with his life in California with his wife and kids. Why on earth will he come back just so? Alright, let's see here. Oh, Prince Harry is not returning to royal roles, what Duke of Sussex has said in new interview. It's been rumored that the Duke could rejoin the royals in place of King Charles following his cancer diagnosis. So, wait a second. What happened to William? Isn't William the heir? He's over there. Why is it not stepping up? You had that 18-year-old from, Denmark. The father went away for a couple of days. He took the place of the father as regent. So how come William cannot do his? And the father is still there. He could easily, bring some paperwork next to the father and ask for help as he does his thing. My goodness. It's been rumored Duke could rejoin the royals in place of King Charles following his cancer diagnosis. And response, the father of two said, quote, I have my own family, as we all do. My family and my life in California is as is. He then added that while he will return to the UK, it will only be briefly. In references, he will be traveling. A lot of time through his traveling, there will be pit stop. Or maybe, before he jumped to a next plane, connecting flight, maybe there'll be enough time to go see his father. That's what I got from that. Okay, and maybe go to meet some charities or something. But they make these things difficult for him because of security. But when Charles needed him, full security was there. Right, and these people forget about the security aspect as well. Okay, and that 28 days in advance notice that he needs to give. I mean, come on. He needs to stay alive for his kids. Alright. He then added that while he will return to the UK, it will only be briefly. I have got other trips planned that will take me through the UK. There it is. This is what I got. Through the UK or back to the UK. So I will stop in and see my family as much as I can. Following the news of the King's cancer diagnosis, Harry returned to the United Kingdom where he had a 45-minute with his father, who delayed his trip to Sandringham in order to see his son. This was planned? It was planned, but I don't know. These people turn things into different. So that's the video that I was seeing earlier. Oh no, it's different. This is a different one. There's this lady here. Okay, Prince William reportedly has said there's no chance Harry will be allowed back into the royal family fold. However, it's been claimed that Harry is willing to return to a temporary royal role to support his father. Is William to allow his brother back? What the hell? These people are making shit as they go along. Okay, it's almost a minute and 58 seconds.
Going to be there running and playing the role for the entire UK very soon,
yes,
probably sooner, and that should be a role model for other families. The unit is the most important thing.
Hang on,
the unit.
Okay, Richard, hold that point. Just let Fahima finish making her point.
The family unit builds success. It builds hope even in other families' homes. So they need to set out that kind of role model and status within the monarchy so that we can learn from it, because that's real power.
Okay,
that's real success.
The important point here, as I see, is absolutely pivotal. It isn't just the 4 years of betrayal that have led William to, apparently the brothers haven't spoken in months. It's most particularly as well, he's safeguarding not only his family in this cohesion at this time, but the monarchy. And he knows very well that the Sussexes are absolutely ruthless. They're entitled
oh my God.
when it comes to publicity and links to the media.
So you think Harry's been advised by his media people that it's in his media
oh
interest?
My God. If we did not know about the Oprah interview, here's the problem. This guy that's talking this nonsense, he is part of the problem. Because he was saying nonsense without even see the Oprah interview. Is it for real? Oh my God.
to go and say these things. It's actually it's another manipulation.
Well, and in fact, if you look at
That's
whether...
speculation.
No, but does he take advice? The answer is no one putting spare where you'd have penile frostbite, the drugs, the virginity, the numbers of Taliban he took out. He isn't taking advice. Who do they take advice from? They're so entitled. I mean, Meghan even said that she'd been told that their wedding was compared in South Africa to Nelson Mandela being released. If you think of something so paralytically imbecile.
These people, there were some things about that. It's the people from South Africa who made that reference, not Meghan. She just repeat what was said to her. Oh my God. Wow.
Unbelievable.
But holding on to that resentment and having that sort of misery and bitterness is really not going to help them move forward either. It's so much better for their human psychology if they were really being advised to actually learn to forgive and move on.
Well, Harry and Meghan have moved on. It's the UK who's making noise. I'm not even going to go in the comment. This is crazy. This is crazy. The people create... Meanwhile, these two who create the problem, okay, William and Kate create the problem. They're not asking, the UK media are not asking for these two to find a way to get help. They need help. Help of being human. Oh my God. Next tweet.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
We ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.